Katherine, we're coming back with yet another bonus episode, and it's an update on the Oxford case, which, if you haven't listened, we've done 2 episodes on that back in season 2. You'll find them under episode 2 and 3 in season 2. Now, before we get into it, can you just give us a brief reminder of how that case unfolded?
Oxford High School is outside of Detroit, Michigan. And there was a kid who essentially came into the school with a handgun. He was a young kid. His parents had purchased the gun for him for Christmas. He took the gun into school and ended up killing 4 kids. On the day that it happened, his parents actually had been called to the school because one of the teachers had seen some very disturbing drawings that he had drawn that showed people being shot to death. And, the day before, somebody had seen him searching for ammunition. So there were just a lot of warning signs that we talk about in those episodes. You got to go back and listen to them.
So chilling. It is one of those episodes that's actually really jaw-dropping. It's so unbelievable.
This kid is still in jail, charged with murder. And if you want the details, you have to go back to the episodes. But his parents are both arrested and in jail. And they're still in jail, even though the shooting occurred in November, and they're not going to get out. And they're both charged with felonies.
We left off with the parents and the shooter in jail. What's developed since then?
I just wanted to mention a couple of things because it is complicated and it's going to take a long time for those trials to go to fruition. But the couple of things that I think are super interesting and relevant is that a group of the students actually filed a federal claim. So I'm going to just read what it says here, charging that the school district and several of its officials failed to heed the constitutional obligations to safeguard the safety of the students leading up to the shooting.
Are they citing any particular moment that they believe there was a failure?
From a legal standpoint, you can take all these facts together and say these facts showed indifference on the part of school officials to their constitutional obligation to take care of the students. And that's really, this is the legal nerd in me, but that's an interesting lawsuit that I haven't really seen in this format before, where they say we have a constitutional right to be safe in our schools. You have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So you could file a federal action saying that the school's indifference to the circumstances, facts they knew at the time, is the reason that the killings occurred, is the reason that all the students faced what they faced. This isn't just about students who were killed. It's about a group of students. The shooter was charged with terrorism, and a terrorism charge speaks to the fact that everybody was put at risk. So they are the victims in a terrorism charge. So this civil action against the school district, as opposed to the criminal action against the subject, is another extension of you allowed us to be victimized, and therefore we have a cause of action against you because you violated our constitutional right to safety in our own school. So kind of an interesting idea that there's a good cause of action for the people who didn't suffer gunshot wounds.
If they do win that going forward, is there implications in other school shootings?
Oh, absolutely. And I think you're seeing that now. Now understand that lawsuits are filed all the time after something. Any school district who thinks that it's not going to get sued and pay millions of dollars when there's a shooting, they should not be school district officials, because they're all wrong. Every school and every organization that is involved when a shooting occurs ends up paying massive millions of dollars settlements. It's just what happens to victims, to survivors, to victim families, but not necessarily this situation as much as people who were there in the school but feeling terrorized. But when the government is filing a lawsuit claiming terrorism, right, then clearly the government believes that all those people in the school were terrorized. So the government's actions itself are validating their claim. It would be a fun case to work because, and I know fun, that's again, legal nerd answer, because you feel like you're looking for solutions, and every school district's got to be on alert right now. We are squeezing tighter and tighter the idea of culpability. And, the answer some people want is, oh, we have to make schools safer. We have to harden the target. We have to put up more steel doors. But the kid in this shooting walked in with a gun in his backpack, and he's not the first one, right?
Yeah.
And middle school shooters and high school shooters come from within the school. We know that statistically. So these shooters are already inside the school and they get in and out. And so you can harden the target all you want, but if you don't improve prevention efforts, we're not going to win this game. So I think it's prevention that we need to focus on. We need to focus on better funding, better organization of things like school threat assessment teams and mental health, but also let's talk to the teachers and the parents. Let's make the parents responsible. Don't buy your kid a gun when he's 15 because he talks you into it. There were communications law enforcement found after this shooter at Oxford where he was saying, oh, my parents are getting suspicious, but I've been lying to them. Teenagers lie to their parents all the time.
Of course they do.
Right. If you think you have a great relationship with your kids and they don't lie to you, you're
dreaming. You're dreaming.
Let me sell you a bridge, as we say in the States, right? Let me sell you a bridge.
I don't even know what that means, but I'm going to steal it. Let me go back to that idea of prevention. Is there anything that Oxford is doing that you know of in terms of changing their prevention going forward?
One thing is that Oxford, and this is a sad part, I don't have all the details on it, and I'm sure eventually we will, but the school counselor spoke to the Oxford high school shooter and the Oxford high school shooter's parents the day of the shooting. And the parents didn't want to take the kid home. So the kid was sent back to his classroom. The district is evaluating, should the counselors be escalating situations up? So that's one thing. But the other thing they're doing is something that's kind of unique. It's not unique like the company is brand new, but they brought a company in that I've heard of before that does weapons detection. It's an intriguing idea. And when we're looking for ways to solve a problem, imagine this. This company is called Zero Eyes. It's been around for a few years.
Loving the name.
I know, it's Zero Eyes, right?
So
I know.
good.
Their concept is they install cameras in your facility. Zero Eyes has basically like a command post. They have, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys working 24 hours a day in this command post. And what the people in the command post are seeing, they have used artificial intelligence to do gun detection. So
what? You're blowing my mind. How is that even possible?
I'm going to give you my layman's version, understanding. No science here. My layman's version. First of all, artificial intelligence learns from itself. That's why they call it that, right? It learns from itself. So I'm just going to say, this is what I believe they do, right? Because it's not like it's not like I was in their kitchen watching them make the soup.
This is Zero Eyes for Dummies, by the way.
Oh, for sure. Right. Right. Exactly. Zero Eyes for Dummies. And how artificial intelligence works is they take images, like say 3D images of all the weapons that they want to detect. And then they load that into their system. And then what the cameras do at their location, say there's a camera in a school, if the artificial intelligence detects a possible weapon, then it captures an image of it. And those images go back to a control center where Zero Eyes has people sitting there who are professionals trained in this, and they look at the image and they say, I think that's a gun. Or I think it's not. No, that's an umbrella, right?
That would be more likely to be happening in London, just umbrella watch for Zero Eyes versus gun watch.
Exactly. So what they do is in this control center at the company, if they think that there's a concern, they have pre-established protocols that they agree to with the company or the school district, whatever. Say, for instance, that this is being put into a local grocer, right? And they have these cameras, and a call goes back to their main hub, and the camera images look like a weapon. Then the grocer would have already had an agreement with this company to say, when I hit the word dispatch, is it going to the police department? Is it going to your security office? Because some companies have big security offices. Do they want it to simultaneously go into that and the state police and the local police and the 911 dispatcher, as we call it here? 811, is that what it is where you are?
You always do this to me, and it's,
you should know.
I know it's 999 because it's the opposite of New Zealand, which is 111.
Oh, emergency numbers. You always have to know those, right? So, I mean, it's just an interesting idea. If they get engaged and they see an image, well, they already have the schematics for the buildings. So they can get on the line with the police and say, here's where he was in the building. And this company has been around for a few years. I mean, they know what they're doing, and they've had some successes in this area. And sometimes that success is just taking a gun offline, right? It's taking a gun out of somebody's hands before they can use it. That's pretty cool. Say it's an exposed weapon that you're walking down the hallway and you've got a gun tucked in the back of your jeans. I can tell you I've had a gun tucked in the back of my jeans many a time in my lifetime.
You live a different life from me, I'm telling you.
Well,
I'd be scared I'd shoot my butt cheek off.
Yeah, that is a good reason not to carry a gun. Because if you should be a little more confident than that.
I'm not.
Because you absolutely could. So that's good. Sarah is not going to be carrying a gun.
Don't tell them that. You just made me a target.
But everybody around Sarah carries a gun. She's heavily guarded.
Heavily guarded. I have security.
I'm covering you there. I'm covering you there. Again, it's a solution to a problem that's already occurring, right? It's always better to prevent, but it's also good to look at the solutions. And so that's really why I thought, hey, let me tell you about a couple of new updates with regard to Oxford, because I think Oxford is going to be at the edge of new lawsuits, new technologies, new ideas for a long time to come. So that's what's going on up in Michigan anyway.
Yeah, it feels very watershed.
We'll see. We'll see.